Yeah, this is a great question, the relationship between waking up and growing up. So most people that I work with, they come to me because they've had some level of non-dual awakening, and they want to deepen in this awakening. And often what happens is they're in the first stage of the awakening where they wake up and out of their humanity. They begin to experience themselves as vast spaciousness. There's a sense of freedom in their mind, a sense of freedom in their body. And, basically the question is, well, how can I live in this state in every moment? And so what happens is this will often happen like on a retreat or when they spend a long time in meditation or in the wilderness. But then they go back home. And they go home to their wife or their kids or their work, or perhaps anxiety or depression begins to arise in their consciousness again. And so then they come to me and they say, well, how do I just get back to this place of peace? Because I just want to stay there and I want to forget about this other thing. I want to transcend it. I want to get rid of it. People try to get rid of things in their consciousness. But there's this beautiful thing that happens with our life, with our humanity. If there's anything within us which is, highly neurotic, repetitive, something that keeps coming back again and again and again, it means that there's something within us that needs to be embraced with love. Embraced with clarity and love. So the clarity is that willingness to see it clearly. And then the love is the ingredient that actually heals it. And so if we have something within us that repeats itself again and again and again and again, that's part of our consciousness which is stuck in the past. That's the very thing that needs to grow up. When we have pain within us that hasn't been healed, that hasn't been transformed, that hasn't been healed and integrated within our consciousness, it remains stuck in that moment in time. It remains stuck in a childlike way. And so even if we do have another awakening, what we'll find is that pain will come forward into our awakening. It will come into our little private peace world. And it'll say, hey, there's something here. And again, most people just try to transcend it and get rid of it. They try to cut it out of their consciousness. They try to ignore it or deny it. But if we want to live in a way which is fully integrated, we have to grow up. We have to meet our pain, our sadness, our anger, our depression or addictions with love. That means we need to sit with them, we need to feel them, we need to breathe into them, and allow them to begin to unravel. As they unravel, growing up occurs. Healing occurs. So it's hard to be awake. It's hard to remain in any spiritual state if there's aspects of our humanity which are unresolved. It would be impossible. And we've even seen this in the past with great gurus. They have these huge awakenings. They can transmit this presence of grace into the world. But maybe there's an aspect of their sexuality that hasn't fully grown up and integrated within them. So then they get caught with their pants down, sleeping with their students. Or maybe they have, something off, some neurotic relationship with power or anger. Because in the monastery they were taught, just deny it, transcend it, transcend it, transcend it. And so if we don't spend some time working on our psychology, if we don't spend some time working with our humanity, and by some time I mean literally decades, working with the pains of our past, the shadows, the wound of the inner child, or whatever it is within us, those things will come forward into whatever spiritual state we think we've attained. And those things will bring us down. In fact, they're supposed to bring us down. Because what they're inviting us to do is to learn how to love ourselves fully. And as we love ourselves fully, we're more able to love the world fully. But if we don't work on ourselves, if we haven't grown up in a truly psychological way, we may be awake in a spiritual way, but act like a child in the world. Act like, an arrogant prick in the world. Act like a jackass or, someone who's living out of alignment with their truth. But eventually, whatever it is that we're struggling with, if there's some sort of anger within us and it comes off as being a jackass in the world, if we don't embrace our anger and learn to work with our anger, eventually that anger will explode, into this so-called awakened state that we have. And it will bring us down into that place of being whatever it was, 10, 15 years old. And we'll be forced to deal with it. And that's a good thing. Because the nature of awakening, the nature of truth, is to heal every aspect of the self. Truth wants to include and love and be expressive in every way possible. It doesn't want to just have its own private heaven world, while the rest of its life, the rest of our life, is falling apart. So it's a great question. So I place a high degree of emphasis on both waking up and growing up. Oftentimes when we wake up first, it's easier to see with clarity what's going on within our humanity. Not all of us get to have that grace of waking up first and then being able to work with our humanity from this place of peace and freedom. And so I emphasize waking up first. But life is messy business. And so for most of us, we have to work with both simultaneously. And they're mutually supportive.